Hi, welcome to part 4. There's another point that I wanted to make that I wanted to hammer home. So I mentioned that Egypt was considered a safe place, so I figured I'd use scripture to back that up. So you go to Matthew chapter 2, verse 13. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Rise and take the young child and his mother and flee into Egypt. That was considered a safe place. And be thou there until I bring the word. So so that would consider the safe place. So when Peter's writing, keep in mind he wrote First Peter immediately after, I believe it was immediately after the lawless one was revealed. If you go to 2 Thessalonians 2, Paul pointed out, hey, the lawless one has to be revealed first. And so Peter, being the chief of the apostles, he had to keep watch on that. Basically, a second set of eyes. And so, remember, he in John 21, he was about to feed the house of Israel. All right, remember Jesus told him, "Feed my sheep." All right, and so he had to keep tab what was going on there. All right, so when he finally finds out that the laws were revealed, who was Eleazar, by the way, his name was Eleazar. He is the grandson of Judas Iscariot, who betrayed Jesus. He was the son of Ananias, who was the high priest. And Paul had an encounter with Ananias, Judas Iscariot's son, who's Eleazar's dad. Brothers, in looking at the council, Paul said, Brothers, I live by my life before God in all good conscience up to this day. And the high priest Ananias, the son of Judas Iscariot, commanded those who stood by him to strike him on the mouth. Then Paul said to him, God is going to strike you, you whitewashed wall. Are you sitting to judge me according to law? Yet contrary to law, you order me to be struck. Then those who stood by said, would you revile God's high priest? Oh, I put Paul in a position there. And Paul said, I did not know, brother, that he was the high priest, okay? So he was the one that was the restrainer for his son. So once he died on August 14th, 1866. That same day, his son Eleazar ordered no more sacrifices to Caesar. And that was the final straw, according to Josephus, beginning the Jewish War. Wasn't just that, but there are a couple other things that happened that led up to it too. The Jews took over the Masada in 1866, and they also stopped paying their taxes in 1866. So a combination of those three things, what led to the war, for Nero to call out destruction of the Temple of Jerusalem. So this was written 1866, the point I'm trying to drive home. Peter was in Jerusalem at the time. It suggests, because the very first verse, he's referring to those 5 churches that they were scattered. In other words, they're away from Jerusalem. All right? And remember, in Acts 12, he was in Jerusalem, and God took care of King Herod, the second King Herod, if you will, who died in AD 44. And so that heavily suggests that the Lord wanted Peter to stay in Jerusalem. Besides, Peter he didn't even speak the language of Rome anyway. But the point I'm trying to make here is that in 1866, when he writes that, there's no way he could have been in Rome. It was the most dangerous part of the world. You had Christians getting murdered left and right by Nero. So the thing that Eusebius has said does not match with the narrative of the scriptures, and you study the history of the time, it doesn't fit. And you understand that Peter didn't even speak Greek. Like I pointed out earlier, they knew right away that he was uneducated. Now, they didn't ask him a question like, what's the square root of 36 to find out he's educated? No, they had been speaking Greek, which was a language they're educated in that region, and they knew right away that he was not catching on what they were saying. And so that's how they had to have known that he didn't know Greek, now he was uneducated. Alrighty? So anyway, hope this all makes sense to you. So that's the point I'm trying to drive home here. Matthew chapter 2, 13. That was considered a safe place. Rome was not considered a safe place, especially at the time he wrote First Peter. And think about that. Why would he park his family in Rome, knowing that he's going to die soon, based on Second Peter, and in the most dangerous place in the world? And why would he? And also, let's just go with Eusebius for a moment, claiming that Babylon was Rome. Rome was considered the most dangerous place in the world. Why would he be code for the most dangerous place in the world? That would be like suicide. You know what I mean? It's bad enough those 5 churches he's writing to were caught, stuck between the 2 beasts, if you will. Beast of the land, beast of the sea. Beast of the sea being Rome, and beast of the land being Jerusalem, the Jews who rejected Christ. They're murdering Christians, even the Jews who came to Christ. Remember, Saul, before he became Paul, he was murdering Christians, or having murder under Pilate or under the Roman authorities, just like they did with Jesus. Okay, they were leaning on the Roman authorities to murder these people. So it does not fit. This, again, is an attempt by Eusebius trying to centralize power, tap into the religious arena, if you will. And keep in mind, earlier on, Constantine, in the beginning of his reign, were murdering Christians. He noticed that they were not going away. There's something about these people. So he saw it as an opportunity for political power, but he used that disguise, of a conversion. He had no conversion. And it's been said that at the end of his life, he had a conversion. Well, what did that say about the first one? And he was murdering his own family after his first so-called conversion, and he was still holding on to pagan practices and beliefs. And he was trying to combine the pagans with the Christians into one entity. Why? For power. All right? So those are some things to think about. So this is the point I'm trying to drive home. After chapter 2, trying to find a passage that backs up what I was saying about Egypt considered a safe place. Alrighty. Well, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you think about what I said, and I hope that you create your own timeline, piecing all this together. I have a video on that about creating a timeline. Encouraging people to buy some sort of software. It doesn't have to be expensive software, but just something that you can piece together and lay it all out, and then that help with being able to discern whether there's rewritten history or not. So I encourage you to do that. So, alrighty. Well, thank you very much, and thank you for watching. Thank you for your time, and you have an awesome day.